Welcome to another segment of BizWire. Today we are in conversation with Dr. James Murphy, Director of Research and Science at BAT. Dr. Murphy, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Rwandi, for having me today. It's great to meet you.
Lovely. And we have a lot of questions to ask you, so I'm going to start things off. Can we share with our audience why it's important that only legal, regulated companies are allowed to sell smokeless nicotine products today?
Yes, if I could just sort of introduce the concept of tobacco harm reduction, which is really about offering smokers the option of switching to lower risk tobacco and nicotine products. These could be heated products, they could be vapor products, they could be nicotine pouches. And these products, while not risk-free, have been evaluated and concluded by several public health authorities around the world as being lower risk than smoking. So there's really a great opportunity for public health if we can embed tobacco harm reduction. Having said that, we really need to ensure that the best products are offered to smokers, and that's why we need to have very high manufacturing standards. We need to conduct product stewardship in these products, which is, considering the ingredients, the materials, the toxicological aspects of these products. And then they're introduced into the market through legal retail channels. So it's critical that those aspects are recognized to create really a regulated marketplace.
Lovely. I think that set the stage for us really well. I want to talk to you more about the reduced risk products, but first I want to ask you, can you share with us the thinking behind tobacco harm reduction and how nicotine fits into that without actually being the product itself?
Yes, so I think it's well known, well documented about the risks of smoking. Um, and often the question is posed is, why do smokers smoke? And they smoke typically for three things: for sensorial aspects, ritual aspects, and the nicotine pharmacology. So sensory is like the taste and the smell. Ritual is like the puffing and the holding of the product. And the nicotine pharmacology is, how they use it for maybe to focus or to relax, to de-stress during their day. And what we believe is that we can create, and we have created, non-combustible smokeless products that can still offer these three things to smokers. And then that would enable smokers to switch from risky combustible products like cigarettes to lower risk smokeless products. And you mentioned nicotine, which is a really important aspect. Nicotine is one of the key elements of tobacco and nicotine products. And, nicotine in itself is probably one of the most misunderstood, misperceived chemicals known to man. I'm a chemist myself by training. And often because nicotine was in smoking and with cigarettes, the risks of nicotine are often equated to the risks of smoking. When in fact, nicotine is not carcinogenic, and the WHO, the World Health Organization, has stated this, FDA, other major public health authorities. And so it's actually the combustion of tobacco that is the problem, and it's not actually the nicotine, which in itself is not the cause of smoking-related diseases.
Wow, that gives a lot of clarity. Thank you for that. And I'm sure that is the misconception that a lot of people have. Thank you very much, Dr. Murphy, for clarifying that for us. My next question is, in your opinion, in your view, what are the downsides of banning reduced risk products completely, and how does smart regulation really help address those concerns?
It's a great question and a critical question to address. And maybe if I talk about both ends of the spectrum of, when you have good regulation and we hold a country like, for example, like Sweden or New Zealand would be up there as well. And these are countries that would have very well regulated marketplaces, good enforcement, and often the products are say excised according to the risk profile of the product. And what you see in those markets is that we see adult smokers switching to smokeless products and really having a beneficial population benefit to those countries. What you see in other countries, in countries where these products are not allowed at all, is you just see a mass of illicit black market products coming into the marketplace. And what you can see with that there is these are run by criminals. We have to be very, very clear about this here. And if I think about a country like Australia, to take it another step forward, Australia regulated these products as medical products. You'd have to go into a pharmacy to get a vapor product in Australia. And that's not how, tobacco nicotine users are used to getting their products. So nobody goes into pharmacies to get the products. There is a mass illicit market supplying about 1.7 million people in Australia, run by criminals. And you can read it in the Australian press. There are people being burned out of their shops, people being burned out of their homes. It's a really serious problem. So what may seem like quite a sort of like a low priority for a government, that by really introducing smart regulation into a marketplace of smokeless products, can one, benefit public health, two, benefit the government by collecting taxes, and three, ensuring that none of these unintended consequences occur.
Wow, you really gave us some perspective there. Thank you, thank you. That is new information to me. So thank you very much for sharing that. You kind of paved the way to my next question as well. So what do you think? What are the steps that need to be taken to ensure that adult smokers have realistic but also responsible access to these alternatives?
Excellent. And I think from a couple of perspectives, from say the government or the regulator within the country, I think a few things. One is making the products accessible so that they're in the right retail environment. It's legal compliant, and it's well monitored and enforced. I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is we need to ensure that these products are acceptable. So we hear a lot about in some markets, different markets around the world, about banning certain sort of banning flavors and these different product standards. That really takes away the acceptability of these products, and it's harder for smokers then to switch to the smokeless products. So that's the acceptability piece. And then the third thing is then the affordability, which is then making sure these products are priced accordingly for the marketplace. And just one final point, just underpinning everything. If I could have one wish for each of the governments in the world, it would be that there would be accurate communication about the risk profile of smokeless products relative to smoking. Because what you see in many markets around the world is that with a lot of the really poor science and poor sort of communications that's put into marketplaces, a lot of people are equating the risk of smokeless products to cigarettes, which it means that then there's little motivation for smokers to switch to these lower risk products, and then will not realize the benefits of harm reduction, which is a population health benefit.
Lots of work to be done. Oh, Dr. Vati, it's been a very quick flowing conversation, but you've shared a lot of insights. But unfortunately, I had to ask you my final question. You mentioned harm reduction, and harm reduction is like a key focus of BAT. Can you share with us some of the notable achievements so far, and how do these achievements support BAT's long-term vision?
Yes, great question, because I think what we need to paint is the vision of success that then all of the countries around the world can see what's the art of the possible with tobacco harm reduction. And of course, you have countries like Sweden, which is the vanguard market. What happened in Sweden is that over the last 3 or 4 decades, smokers have switched to snus, which is a little pouch of pasteurized tobacco you place under your lip. And because they switched to this lower risk product, smoking rates declined, and they're now sitting at 5.4%, which is just above the World Health Organization definition of a smokeless country is 5%. So if a smoking prevalence in a country is 5%, then it's deemed a smokeless market by the WHO. And so Sweden will likely be the first smoke-free country. As a result of that, Sweden has the lowest rates of tobacco-related mortality and morbidity across the EU, by quite an order of magnitude, and they're well on track to meeting their cancer plans. Interestingly, there was some external independent scientists did some research modeling. If the health outcomes of Sweden were applied across the rest of the European Union, in the next 10 years, 3.4 million lives could be saved. So this is the profound nature of what we have here. 20 years ago when I joined BAT, we didn't have these tools. Today we have these tools, and we really want to make sure these tools are available to all our markets around the world.
That is definitely a good future to look forward to. Thank you, Doctor. We've been in conversation with Dr. James Murphy, Director Research and Science at BAT. Dr. Murphy, thank you very much. Loved the insightful conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to all our viewers for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. Thank you for watching and stay safe.